Hey guys, Hippopotamus here, and today I'm going to be finishing off with a bit of an interesting build. I guess I'm going to call it the Jammer Spammer build, and this is particularly used in the end of dark hours when you are running on a plate for Razorback. This is really going to help not only with the drones, but it's also going to help with your teammates, keeping them topped up with health, even the ones that we can't touch directly with the hive. So, with that in mind, let's go look at the specialization. So the main reason we are taking the survivalist should come as common sense. We are using the crossbow. So we are going to use the crossbow to shoot out the back plate or front plate on Razorback. So this makes things a lot easier for you. We have a couple of things. So we have increased outgoing healing. Because we are healing teammates, Triage Specialist is going to directly play into the build. Elite Defense, 10% increased protection from elites is useful. I think a lot of the drones that come out of Razorback are actually elites anyway, so this 10% protection is going to help just that little bit more. We have distributed repair, so we can use a med kit and share that with allies. So if we are down on heals or anything like that, we can just pop a med kit, and anyone that's within 20 meters is going to receive that healing. Useful for when maybe your hive is down and you're shooting at weak points, people taking damage, you can repair them that way too. We aren't using the Mender Mine, so that's of no use. However, the Survivalist Tactical Link, damage to targets when the under status effect. So this could be useful because we do have the fire grenades and the crossbow that we can shoot at enemies if it comes to it. Not as useful in the raid at dark hours at the end. I don't think that's going to be super useful, but it's there. We also have crunch time, very useful. When we get in cover, we're going to gain 10% skill haste. That's useful because we don't really have a lot of skill haste with this build, so the extra 10% is very much welcomed. The extra ammo scraping by is not really going to help so much. Although we are using a rifle that could benefit from it, yeah, it's not going to be of a massive help in this particular case. Main thing to note is that we're using a synergizing weapon, which is the assault rifle. I use an assault rifle because of the health damage as part of its attributes, and the weak points on Razorback are health. The one thing to note is that I'm not using a rifle, and I am using a rifle on this build, but I don't have it in the tree. That's what I'm trying to say there. There is no need, because the rifle that I'm using, I'm only using it to mark targets. I'm not really trying to kill them. If I do kill them, it's a bonus. But when I am sat on my plate or waiting to get on plates, things like that, I have a short window of time where I can mark enemies. And people that are on Overwatch, if I shoot them with this gun, it's going to mark them and give people healing. However, we'll go through that when we get there. Right, with all that said, I think we can just sort of skip over the fire grenades until we get to them in the build. But let's just go have a look at what I've made. So I've tried this out in the last few Dark Hours raids that I've been running, and I have found this in particular to be extremely useful and a really good version of the Jammer Spammer build that people run. So for my first weapon, I'm using the Shield Splinter. The main reason is just because of the talent. Let's just go through what this one has. So this one has assault rifle damage, that all-important health damage, and then damage to targets out of cover at 10%. And the talent is basically Optimist. It's the best talent that we're going to use for this particular build. It doesn't involve us having any crit. Shoot your gun, get damage. So weapon damage is increased by 4.5% every 10% of the ammo missing, so up to 45% extra damage, which is good because we have no damage cause whatsoever, and this is going to help. As far as the optics and the muzzle go, we'd just go in weapon handling and accuracy because we don't have any crit, and we just have the 20 extra rounds in the mag. Right, so a very unusual choice here, and some people are going to really probably throw up when they see this. Some people really hate this gun, and I get it. It's not exactly what you call good, but what this allows me to do is this allows me to heal teammates that are not directly within my line of sight of my hive. So as you'll know, when you're at Razorback at the end, there's people on plates behind that you can't see, and you're not always able to throw a hive at somebody that's, over the other side of the map. So basically, the Doctor Home, what does it do? What has it got? Mine comes with rifle damage, crit hit damage, and damage to targets out of cover, and it's the talent that we're interested in. So basically, when you shoot an enemy, it marks them, and it marks them for 5 seconds. So if they get killed, and Generally, as a rule, when Overwatch are watching your back, they are going to be getting a lot of kills. And from my plate, I can generally see two, maybe three of the corners out of the four from where I'm sat. So if I just shoot an enemy, mark them, and then that enemy dies, every single person in the party will get 10% of their armor back. That's really useful because when I'm sat on the plate just doing nothing else, I can actually be passing out healing to everybody. So that is why I am using the Doctor Home. You can use what you want here, but for me, this was a real benefit to the team and just helped a little bit, with keeping people that were, running out of med kits or stopping to having to use revives or stopping to run over and heal people. This can help a little bit. From a pistol, I've just pulled one out of the box. Because we don't need the TDI card, there's no point in running that. I'm just using any old general pistol. You can use whatever you want here. The larger magazine would probably be better. Mine comes rolled with pistol damage and damage to targets out of cover, but that's not really what we're interested in. We're interested in reformation. So if I just shoot an enemy in the head, I'm going to get 60% skill repair. I think this is supposed to read repair skill, and I think that's just a mistake because it does directly affect your healing from your skills. So I've tested that out, and that works no problem. For the mods, I've just put on headshot damage everywhere and some extra rounds because, we're just aiming for the head, so makes sense, right? So, onto the build. I'll start with the exotic first, and then we'll work our way around as we get to each piece. So, I'm using the BTSU gloves. These come with a skill tier. They have skill haste, repair skill, and they have the talent transference overclock. So it grants 15% hive skill haste per skill tier, so we get the hive back nice and quickly. We detonate the hive and it refreshes your skill cooldowns and grants overcharge for 15 seconds. If we are at skill tier 6, which we are, this also affects all allies. So you can only do this every 120 seconds, but there has been cases where 3, 4, 5 people have lost the hives from going down. They can call every 2 minutes, and I can pop my hive, and I can give everybody their Restorer hive back, their Reviver hive. And this just keeps people in the fight. It also sends them into overcharge, so shields, things like that, they go into overcharge for that short time, and allows some skill haste, I guess. So it is really, really useful. It's a great team buff, and it does a really, really good job. I think well worth it. Right, I think I'll start with the brand set first and move on to the gear set because we've got a few things to talk about with the gear set. So, with the brand set, I've just gone for a piece of Hannah U. This is skill haste for the one piece, and the reason why I've taken Hannah U is because we don't natively have a lot of skill haste. We've taken skill damage and we're taking repair skill mods for the most part, but this one comes with skill damage, skill haste, and repair skill. It also has the talent Unbreakable, so when your armor breaks or is depleted, it repairs 95% of your armor, and that is the case because we're in PvE. This really comes in handy when you are getting off the damage phase from Razorback and it starts firing mortars at you. Because you don't have a Reviver hive to pick you up if one of those mortars hits you, this can potentially save your life. This can stop you from getting killed and just getting downed. So because we don't have a Reviver hive, this extra survivability is very much welcomed. Okay, well, let's move on to the gear set pieces. I'll start with the mask and work my way around slowly to the back. So let's talk about the gear set bonuses that we unlock as we wear pieces. So for 2 pieces, we get skill haste. Quite nice. We don't have a lot of that. For the 3 pieces, exactly what we're chasing. Skill damage to damage the drones, and skill repair skill to give us more healing. So the 4 pieces, so we get feedback loop. Whenever you use or cancel a skill, your other skill is cooled down automatically and reduced by 30 seconds, while increasing total skill damage and repair by 10% for 20 seconds. What a mouthful. I'll show more about how this is going to work once we get into the range, but the main thing is that feedback loop can occur every 10 seconds. Mine comes rolled with a skill tier, has skill damage and a repair skill mod placed into it. So for my holster, I am using a skill tier and skill damage. For my knee pads, I have a skill tier and skill damage. And for my backpack, I have skill damage and a repair skill mod with a skill tier placed onto it. So the talent on the backpack is short circuit, so it decreases the feedback loop cooldown from 10 to 5 seconds. Now that's quite important because when you stood on the plates and you throw in the grenade in, destroying the weak points, once you've done all that, drones are going to come out. And then they're going to come out again quite shortly after. So this is going to allow you to spam, as in jammer spammer, spam your EMP pulse, which will disrupt and destroy the drones because we have skill damage on them. It's going to actually get rid of them. It's going to increase the damage that the EMP does to them. Okay, so we have a Restorer Hive. So this is used for when you run to the front or the back of Razorback and you're trying to damage those weak points. You drop your hive for teammates. If they are getting shot by other enemies, this is going to help them survive and not have to turn around and focus on other enemies. This is going to allow them to just concentrate on what they're doing for that short damage phase that you're given. I guess I should show the mods in it, shouldn't I, really? Healing, repair charges and health. And unsurprisingly, the Jammer Pulse, so Jammer Spammer again. So mine just comes with Radius and Skill Haste, so I can get it back within those 30-second cooldown window that I have. So the fire grenades, I don't think I've really talked about them too much, but again, can be kind of useful, can help a little bit, I guess, just to block off sort of areas. Maybe the cannons, you could throw one back if there was a chunga on there. It might help increase the damage to the enemy, but it's not really something that we're too bothered about. Right, so let's get into the range. Let's just go have a quick look here. Let's just make sure that modifiers are off, which they are, and let's just get an accurate reflection of the skill haste, because this is important for this build, because skills, we are using them in and out of the range. Let's take a look at our stats. Perfect Optimist, just for damage on those weak points when we are doing damage. Dr. Home, to allow a little bit of versatility and healing. We can just mark enemies that are getting killed by our teammates. We're not actually trying to kill the enemy ourselves. Even if we do, it's great, but you know, this is going to allow everybody to get 10% armor on the enemies that you mark. Reformation on the pistol, increased healing. If we have that window to do so, we can turn and shoot an enemy, and we'll get an extra 60% skill repair for that time that we have it. It's worth mentioning the crossbow, because obviously we can break the weak point for the other person. This is going to help a lot. Damage is obviously going to be quite low, as well as crit chance, crit damage. This is not something that we're going to be aiming for. We aren't exactly what you'd call a damage player, we're just utility. Again, this is reflected in the weapon damages. So gear talents is short circuit, reducing the cooldown, unbreakable to keep us alive, and transference overclock to reset and help our teammates. We have hardwired 4 pieces, 1 piece of Hana U, and the BTSU data gloves. Armor is low, 726,000. Not really something that I'm going to drop any expertise into anytime soon. It's plenty enough for the job that we're doing. We're just focusing on removing the drones, healing teammates where we can. We also have the Restorer Hive, and we have reasonable, healing. It's not anything that's massive, the same as a healer, but again, it's going to give the team a window to just concentrate on those sort of weak points. Refill speed is 1 second per. Right, so for the pulse, the cooldown is 17 seconds, but we can completely get round that. We can effectively do this twice in a row, just by dropping a skill and then picking it up, which is part of the reason why we have the hive as well. So we'll go through that in just a second. So let's maybe start with the EMP. That's probably the most important part, right? So if we just pretend this enemy here is Razorback, we've been on the plates and we're all damaging the weak points, the drones are going to come out and we are just going to EMP those drones. Now, a very short amount of time after, another set of drones are going to come out. If I drop my hive, you see that my still comes straight back, and then I can get rid of those drones again. Pick up my hive, drop that, and then I can jam again, over and over and over again, like that. If drones come out, I can get rid of them immediately. Those drones really, really do some nasty damage. If I'm helping with the weak point, I tend to use An assault rifle, because of the health damage, again, this is what we call health damage, a red bar here. So I'm going to be getting higher numbers with the health damage that I've got. It's going to help. The health damage that is on there is going to help me assist the team a little bit. Right, so a little bit of justification for the Doctor Home. Very unloved and underused weapon, maybe rightly so in most cases, but in this particular situation, if I have a teammate I can't see, and let's pretend, they're hurt, and I can't run over them there and just throw them the hive or whatever, what I can do is, my teammate is going to be shooting at the AI. If I just simply mark that enemy, or mark multiple enemies that are going to get killed, that's going to give the team 10% every time. So let's do that, okay? And I know that doesn't seem like such a great thing, but when enemies are getting killed quickly, and there's a lot of enemies getting killed, these 10%, they can add up, they can add up and save people using a med kit, save them using something else. So I found this to be quite useful. It's not going to be for everybody, but I quite like using it, and that's why I put it on there. Don't forget about the pistol as well. We can use that to increase the healing. We get a headshot on an enemy, it's going to increase the healing on our hive. We have those fire grenades as well, so we can throw that back at the missile launcher that your teammate's protecting, maybe help them do a little bit of damage to anybody that's there. And I guess, really, those are the main points about the build. Let me just have one quick last little think. We can share a medkit if we needed to with teammates. Other than that, that is a complete wrap. Hopefully you've enjoyed these builds this week. It's been a little bit different. Any suggestions, please let me know. And thanks again for the ongoing support. I will be posting a couple of live videos as well, just addressing a couple of issues where I was sort of corrected on some stats and numbers, but I will do that when I get to them. So maybe another 1-2 videos to come later this week. But other than that, from the build videos, we are out for this week. Hope you enjoyed. See you in the next one. Like and subscribe if you can.